What's going on, guys? Tool Cruise here, and today we're going to be testing out the new gravel bike from Sava. So I just finished filming the first look overview of the bike, so if you're interested in learning more about this bike and all the components and everything, you can go check out that video. But for this video, we're going to be doing the test ride. So I made a few other quick little changes, put on some bottle cages, got my bottles on there, put my saddle bag on there. One thing, because this is a more aero kind of seat post, I'm running it a little bit tight here on the strap, but luckily I just got enough Velcro to fit on there. I might have to get a different kind of saddle bag to work on there. And I got my bike computer mounted. And lastly, I swapped over my power meter pedals on here so we can get some data while we ride. But anyway, the bike's ready to go, so let's go. All right, guys, here we are, starting our outside ride test of the Sava Hulk carbon gravel bike. And as you can see, we have lovely paved roads here in Michigan, so the gravel bike is definitely the way to go here. We're going to be doing about a 2-hour endurance ride today, and I'll just be checking in here and then. I just started my ride, so literally just on my first few minutes with the bike so far, and yeah, so far everything's feeling really good. I'm really liking the Shimano GRX shifters so far. This is actually my first time using this group set. I know GRX has been around for a while. It's a really popular gravel group set, but this is my first time using it. So far it's feeling really good. It's really nice being able to have a left shifter on the gravel bike. So far my experience with gravel bikes is I've just been using my aluminum Poseidon X gravel bike, which is a really good bike, but it's a sub $1,000 aluminum bike, a little bit heavier. And this is a carbon gravel bike with proper Shimano, like more high-end group set, so it's not a really fair comparison. But yeah, so far everything's feeling really good. And with the other gravel bike, I only have the single up front, so my biggest complaint with that bike is that I just feel limited with my gears, and that's why I really like having the double up front, because when you're riding a gravel bike ride, you're going to be doing a mix of gravel roads and paved roads, and it's nice to have that extra gear range. I really don't see much of a benefit of going to the 1x setup. So already this bike gets a lot of bonus points from that end for me. I don't know, maybe you're different. Let me know in the comments, do you prefer 1x or 2x for a gravel bike? Let me know why. Some other experience I've had, I used to race cyclocross, so I had a carbon cyclocross bike before, which had a double up front. That was a long time ago. So I do have some experience riding carbon bikes on the dirt roads, but with the cyclocross bike, you have less tire clearance, so it's a little bit different now because I get to put some wider tires on. We've got some 40s on right now, and it looks like there's more tire clearance on the frame, so I'll have to double check what the actual tire clearance is on this bike. But I think most people around here just ride 40s for their gravel rides, because we don't have too extreme of gravel here unless you're going to be riding on the mountain bike trails, and even the mountain bike trails here aren't that extreme. So we're going through one of our first turns here. Washboardy. And yeah, so far the bike's performing pretty well. So we're about to go up a decent little climb right here. Feels pretty responsive getting out of the saddle. It's not super light or anything. This is still like about 22.5 pound bike, but yeah, still lighter than my mountain bike, which is about 25-26 pounds. And here's the other benefit. I can go from my big ring to my little ring, and I get my nice, easy climbing gear. Today's not a hard day. Actually had a race yesterday, so taking it a little bit easier today. Just riding some zone 1-2, enjoying the nice, quiet dirt roads. So we're currently at about 8 kilometers into today's ride. Oh wow, we got a homestay out here. And yeah, so far, bike's holding up great, and the shifters and brake, the whole Shimano GRX group set, performing flawlessly. So in addition to testing out this bike, I also wanted to show you guys a little bit more about my new home area, what the riding is like here. And as you can see, we're kind of in the countryside, a little bit out in the outside of the suburbs of Detroit, Michigan, and still it's a decent residential population out here. There's lots and lots of houses, and that's a really big change compared to where I'm coming from after living in Asia for most of the last 10 years. And where road is king there, it's nice change of pace to be out here on the dirt roads, and just, it's really scenic, really quiet, really beautiful. You get to see lots of nature and animals out here. I'm always seeing deer, rabbits, and just, yeah, lots of stuff out here. It's really nice. I can understand why gravel riding has gotten so popular in the US lately. Even before I left over 10 years ago, I was always riding on the dirt roads on either my mountain bike or cyclocross bike, and the gravel bike just seems to be the optimization between the two. So you get a little bit more comfort of wider tires like with the mountain bike, but you still get the speed that you would get from the cyclocross bike. It definitely is nice being able to put the wider tires on here, the 40s as compared to the 33s, which is usually the limit on most older cyclocross bikes. I think a lot of cyclocross bikes now are converting now. So there's not many true cyclocross bikes anymore. A lot of them are kind of cyclocross gravel hybrid. And even though I've already been in the US for over a month, there's still so many roads out here that I don't know. It's really crazy how many roads there are here. And it's also crazy how perfect of a grid it is. Every road is either perpendicular or parallel to another one. So all my rides on Strava, whenever I look at the GPS data, it's all like kind of perfect squares, which is very different than the roads in Asia, which are always winding around mountains and like built, and a lot of those roads were built a long time ago, so they just continued and kept on the same path. Whereas a lot of the roads here in the US are a lot newer, and when they built them, they just built them in perfect grids. So it's kind of a little weird just always being dead straight on a road and then doing a 90-degree turn and dead straight. The good thing though is you're never gonna get lost. You're always going north, south, west, or east. And it's pretty straightforward to get home if you get lost. But today we're exploring on some new roads. There's literally hundreds and hundreds of miles of dirt roads and gravel roads around here, and I've barely scratched the surface on them so far. So very excited to just continue exploring out here. Looks like we're getting outside of the residential area though, not too many houses over in this part. There are quite a few farms and stuff around here, so the race I did yesterday was actually going through a bunch of different horse farms, and it's just beautiful country area, beautiful riding around here. I'm really excited for my wife to get over here so she can experience this for herself. One downside to the riding here though is there's not many big hills. Some of the biggest hills here are usually about 2-3 minutes max, which I think my wife will prefer actually, because she doesn't like the big mountain climbs, but I'm gonna miss them. They're great for training, and all the climbs here are just anaerobic kind of sprint climbs. Let's check out the drops. So yeah, these are a little bit flared, but not too much. Feels pretty good. And yeah, the size is perfect for me. Definitely the L was the way to go. I slammed the stem as much as I could. I usually do that on all my bikes though. I like a more aggressive position. Oh, free sofa. I will say this is a significant improvement compared to the gravel bike I've been riding. Just having these extra top gears going down the downhills, because I got the 1x with my aluminum gravel bike. I know you can optimize the 1x setups to give you the optimal gears that you need, but the current setup I have for mine is more so for climbing, and I always run out of gears when I'm going downhill, or even when we're going fast on some of the roads on the flats. If I'm doing a group ride or something, I always find that I'm running out of gears, and I can already tell with this bike I have a lot more gears for the downhill, which I'm really appreciating because I'm a bit of a gear masher, so I like having my extra gears. Oh, 3 little deer. Nice sunny day, blue skies, green everywhere, deer prancing around, smooth gravel roads. Does it get any better? It's also really cool to see all the barns over here. Wow, that house over there has its own like private lake. That house is huge. That's the other crazy thing out here is so many people have these massive mansions massive Jeeps. Everything's so American, everything's massive. Road says dead end, but my route says to go this way, so hopefully we got a connector down here. Ah, we got a segment here actually. So my computer will often turn on the live segments just because I'm still new to the area. I'm learning a lot of the roads, so on the Strava segments I starred a lot of segments just so they'll pop up on my computer when I hit one, and then I'll start to know the roads around here a little bit better. Ah, looks like we got about a little kilometer roller climb here. Wow, we're fully covered in canopy trees over here. That's the other nice thing about gravel riding is if it's too hot and sunny, you can cool down in the shade with all the tree cover. And the same thing in the winter, you can dodge a lot of the wind from the tree cover. So summer and winter, dirt roads are the place to be. Beautiful though. Wonder how many times I'm going to say that word on today's ride. So the segment ends just about here. Road ends. It says the road ends, but we got, is this a trail connector or something? Heck yeah. Ah, these must be ATV trails. Yup, these look like ATV trails to me. Oh. Hopefully it's not too muddy back here. It has been raining a lot the last week. Really don't like getting a new bike all dirty, but we'll try and dodge the mud if we can. Wow, this is sweet. I didn't know this was out here. But considering it's the countryside, I bet there's a bunch of ATV trails. It's good that we're testing this out on some trails though. We'll test it on everything. The smooth roads, the gravel roads, the ATV trails. I think I got my tire pressure a little bit too high though. I'm still pretty new to gravel biking and just riding tubes, so really not sure what the best tire pressure is. Ooh, a little pond there. So I'm just riding 40 PSI for right now, and I know that's a little bit high, but I'd rather be safe and not pinch flat and gradually lower it as I get more comfortable, and probably switch to a tubeless setup here pretty soon. Go nice and slow so we don't get the bike wet. Luckily we got a few dry lines. The bad thing about going slow though is all the mosquitoes chase after you. That's the downside of mountain biking that I completely forgot. This is really cool. I wonder where we're going to end up. A lot of the routes I've been trying aren't my own routes that I've made. It's just me seeing what other people ride in the area and then copying their route and testing it out. I feel like I'm riding through swampland. Good thing we got some good traction on these tires. Oh, nasty. Let's get out of here quick. All these mosquitoes. And looks like we can go right or left here, so we're gonna follow a path, go left. Curious how big of a network we got back here. I'm not seeing too many trail marks out here though, so I wonder how popular this place actually is, especially with a lot of these trees down. Perfect for what the gravel bike is. Exactly what the gravel bike is for. Adventure ride, all terrain. Are we out? All right. Back on some clean gravel. That was pretty fun though. Nice hidden surprise. The bike passed the trail test. Let's get that chicken. Yeah, if I was an actual predator, those chickens would not survive for very long. The other nice thing about cycling in Michigan is we got lakes and lakes and lakes everywhere. So if you're one of these lucky people with a lakeside house, you get some awesome views. But even just living in the nearby area, you get the full benefit of doing all these awesome rides around the lakes with really nice views. And I'm really lucky with the area that I'm living now because we got so many gravel roads, and not only that, but these are the hillier gravel roads. So we got gravel roads all throughout Michigan, but most of Michigan's really flat. And the gravel roads here in this particular area where I'm living are some of the bigger ones. Granted, they're not actual like big mountain climbs or anything like that, but you do get some decent elevation gain with all the big rollers and everything. So yeah, we're just starting another 1 kilometer climb right here. Great area for training. All right guys, just finished up with my ride. Nice 2-hour endurance ride. Decent amount of climbing, and yeah, good mix of gravel roads, some hilly roads, some trail, some pavement, and wow, I was actually really impressed with how well this bike performed. At $1,700, you're getting a full carbon frame, pretty decent gravel components, GRX 2x10 group set. It's a slightly older version with the 10-speed, but I don't care. This is more than enough gears, and I really enjoyed having the double on all the hills and all the downhills. Everything just worked perfectly. So yeah, the nice Shimano group set. The frame felt really good in all the corners, everything, and yeah, super quiet. Didn't have any strange noises coming from the bike, and it just performed as you would expect. So yeah, this bike is definitely passing the first ride test. Got a little bit dirty going in all those muddy sections. I already wiped off a little bit of the mud there, so it wasn't too bad, thankfully. And so yeah, this bike gets a big thumbs up of approval from me. Can't go wrong. $1,700 full carbon frame and really good components, Shimano GRX. This bike just performed, and I'm going to continue testing out this bike on my gravel rides moving forward, using it on some of my longer endurance rides, and we'll see how it does. I might make an update video in a couple months to see how the bike's performing, and you'll probably see me post it on my Strava. So if you're interested in seeing my rides and following along, you can go check out my Strava page. I'll link it down below in the video description. So again, a big thank you to Sava for sending this bike over for me to review. Really impressed with it so far, and looks like they got a pretty decent lineup of different bikes. They got a bunch of carbon road bikes, and maybe we'll have an opportunity to test out one of those in the future. Anyway, that's it for today's video, guys. If you have any questions or comments, leave them down below. And before you go, if you're not already subscribed, please hit that subscribe button. We're really close to hitting 100,000 subscribers, and that's our goal before the end of the year. So we'd really appreciate the extra support. That's it for today, guys. We'll see you next time here on 2O Cruise.